Hey everybody, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a tower review video. This video we're going to talk about Cryo Gunner. And yes, it's been a long time I haven't recorded this because I have lots of things that I need to deal with, like the real-time job. So anyways, let's get into the stats and show you all what Cryo Gunner is all about. So here it is. So the stats, here are the stats for Cryo Gunner. This one costs around 200 cash to deploy, and it's a low splash freezing damage. And it's a ground placement tower, and you unlock this by just 400 credits. So anyways, let's look into upgrades. This is just a basic support tower, so let's get into the upgrades so we can see what this tower is about. And anyways, here are the upgrades. At default, Cryo Gunner does 0 damage but stalls the enemies. Oh, and stalls the zombies. Like, and anyways, here are the upgrades. Level 2 upgrade is a thicker ice. It costs 200. Increases the duration of the freeze. Can also freeze groups if packed tightly. Yes, anyways, as you can tell from the video, you notice that the crowd gunner can splash onto multiple enemies at once, which is pretty cool. And then level 3, painfully cold, which is 500. 500 to upgrade. Increases the duration of the freeze, and also zombie takes 2 damage when frozen, which means it will now take damage when once reach level 3. The future attack now shoots once per 2 seconds. Zombies take 3 damage when frozen, which is increased by 1, of course. And then in level 5, in Glaciator, which costs 4,300. Now shoots once per 1.75 seconds. Zombies take 5 damage when frozen, which is 2 more damage. And it is a larger splash radius, as you can tell from the video, which is pretty good in some ways, but at the same time the damage itself is pretty bad. And here are the pros and cons for this tower. Great support tower for freezing zombies, except bosses. Yeah, some bosses still get frozen, but some big ones they're just ignored. They're just immune to the freeze. And then the cheat deploy cost is actually the most mentioning. Even though this doesn't do much, it one thing to know is that it is cheap cost to deploy. And here's some cons with this tower. This one does no or low damage depending on what level it is. If it's like below level 3, like level 102, yeah, it's not dealing any damage. But if you try to max it out, it still does less damage than you expect it to be, and can easily get outclassed, which is true because there are other towers out there that can do better than this, and not ideal for mid and late game, which makes sense because for one, they don't do much damage, and two, you're better off using other towers rather than the crowd gunners. Now let's talk about the tactics that you can use with this tower. Use crowd gunner to group enemies close together to make crowd gunner's area of effect more effective, and pair well with splash towers like tubers and mortar. Using crowd gunner along with flamethrower is very effective as both status effects stack and can stall zombies very well. Level 3-5 crowd gunners are effective against lavas, which is kind of true in some ways. But however, one thing for certain is that the lavas they do not get frozen, which makes sense because lava is opposite of ice. So let's talk about trivia and see what an interesting fact about this one. The bosses it affects are the Necromancer boss, Hidden boss, Reaper, and Yeti. Boss 1, 2, and 3. An unusual model of the crowd gunner indicates that it might have been originally called Stunner, which wields a taser instead of a crowd gun, but it looks otherwise to the crowd gunner. The Stunner can now only be used by the owner of the game, Planet Earth. The crowd gunner does not remove the flame from the flamethrower, and a flamethrower does not remove the freeze from the crowd gunner. This is something you should keep in mind. Like when you're using crowd gunner and flamethrower, both the effects do not get cancelled out. So use whichever target you want, as long as you know the strategy you need. So anyways, that's it for the video. Hope you all find this helpful. See you all later.